You are onto a life-transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
Know the principle of God. The truth of the matter is that you can still be having results. You know, it's one of the things I've seen that sometimes amuses and amazes me. People who don't know God so much, but know His principles and are getting results. I'm telling you, it's one of the shocking things I have seen. I used to think that it's only Christians who should prosper or have success in life, until God corrected me and told me, look, I said in my word that heavens and the earth will pass away. This same heaven we are even dreaming of, He said it will pass away. He said, but my word, He now said, another meaning for my word is my principles. He said, I'm the principal, but I put my principle above, because what bounds me is my principles. That's what He said to me. He said, what bounds me, what controls me, what regulates me, what makes me do what I do is my principles. Say, remove my principles from me, then I'm not God. He said, what makes me God is the principles I live by. Just like you read Exodus verse chapter 30 and see that place where Moses met with God, and then God showed him who He is. He said, I'm the Lord God, I am merciful, loving, long-suffering, keeping mercy for 1,000, and all those things He was saying. He said, those are the things that governs my life. You remove those things from me, then you can't talk of me being God. So I say, okay, Lord, are you saying if a man who does not know you, who does not serve you, know your principle and practice them, he will succeed? He said, yes, he will. I said, are you telling me the truth? He said, yes, yes, yes. I said, okay, then what is now the purpose of being a Christian? I said, the purpose of Christianity and salvation is about your eternal destiny. He said, the man who has my principles and does not have salvation, is not a Christian. He's going to have earthly success, but he's going to have eternal damnation. He may succeed on earth here by applying my principles. He will get result, but when he dies, he's going to be a wretched man in the other world. Then he now says salvation is the biggest that can happen in man, because when you have it now, I now have my principles, because salvation is about accepting the person. The Bible says a fool says in his heart that there's no God. When you deny the person and accept the principles of the person, you could get the results. But for denying the person, you're going to be a wretched man in the other world. You're going to die a second death. You're going to suffer for it. You'll pay for it with your life in hell. But now, salvation now offers us the opportunity of accepting the person. Not just the person, but the life of the person. And then when we have that, we now add the principles of the person. By combining these two forces together, what happens to us is that we get both results on earth and get it after life. So if you say, okay, if not being a Christian makes me succeed, what are we talking about? Throw your Christianity away and then collect principles and succeed. No problem, you will know. But the day rapture meets you unprepared, you're going to be a poor man in the other side. Okay, now let me show you the other way. A man who refuses the principles but accepts the person is going to fail on earth woefully, but he's going to be rich the other way. A clear example is Lazarus. He neglected the principles. The Bible says he desired to eat from the crumb that fell from the rich man's table. He neglected the principles. He didn't want that. He wanted to eat from what the man on the high table was laboring to get, and the Bible says he desired the crumbs. Go and walk. Walk is a principle of success. Go and use your hands to do something. Deploy a talent, turn your talent into skills, deploy those skills into a marketable product or a service or whatever. Then you begin to make money. Making money is not hard. It's actually it's something that happens naturally when you find a problem and solve it. Money is just the certificate of appreciation you get for meeting a need. And that need could be providing a product or rendering a service. So God built the economic system. His system is, if I show you God's economic system, you'll be so. One of the things in his economic system is that you have to work. So the Bible says, he that cannot work should not eat. God gave man in the Garden of Eden work. God created work. Work is a noble thing that God made. A lot of us have refused to work. That's why we are where we are. The one God did not create is actually toiling. But that's the one that man now collected when he fell from where God placed him. But what God created to help man have dominion is work. Have you heard the word? Dignity of labor. There's dignity in labor. Labor there is work. The opposite now is the one that came into place when man fell, when he sinned against God. Toiling is struggling and not seeing results. But working is deploying services or rendering or delivering products or doing something that affects lives positively to earn a living. God recommends that one. Now, why salvation is important is because there's a G factor that causes work to be productive, that causes your work, what you call the works of your hands, to prosper. A man who has principles then has the principle, and then has what you call grace, because grace does not come from the principles. Grace comes from the principle. Jesus is both grace and truth. Yeah, the principle also has its principles. If you apply the principle of the principle and you ignore the grace of the principle, you may have some level of outputs, but you're not going to have as much as a man who is doing principles but adding grace to it. He will have more speed. By God's grace, I actually have the technology for changing any situation, for helping anybody. I usually tell you that if you allow me to do my job as a doctor, it won't take time, just a few space of time. The way your life will turn around. You too can rule your world. You too can. The more I begin to, the more I learn these things and I see how life really is, the more my headache with people reduce, because you can only help a man who understands what I want to let you know this. The coming year is not for people who go to church. The coming year is not for people in the choir. It's not for people who know how to sing. It's not for people who know how to do anything. The coming year are for Christians who have principles at their command. It's not for principles who just pray in tongues. It's not for Christians who just pray in tongues or go to church. It's for Christians who have taken time to assemble. One day I opened the engine of my car and I looked at it. I said, how did they bring all these things together too? You see the oil, you see the engine oil area, you see the hydraulic, you see all those wires. You see the AC unit, you see the electrical unit, you see all kinds of things, and then You see the radiator, you see pipes, you see all kinds of holes. You see the brake system, the accelerator, everything, the injector, the valves, the plugs, and then just for one car that you enter and just drive to one destination, that's all. But they now bring different components, different kind of facilities, different nuts, different wires, different holes, different here and there. All that is to ensure that one car functions. Not two cars, one car. The one time I started studying the human body, and I studied and saw that there are about 12 human systems you have, or thereabouts. I started breaking these things down to see what even one alone does. After studying those systems, I started looking at organs, I started looking at different parts of your body. I look at the head, stood in the mirror, I was looking at my head. I said, look at just one head alone. See the functionalities in it. See nose. Then if you start studying the nose alone, which is just one sense organ within the head, if you know what it is made up of, down to even the hairs in your nostrils. You know, God put hair inside here. Is to prevent dust from destroying your nose. Usually when you start having catarrh, all those flu, things passed. There were things that passed through your nostrils that were not supposed to pass there. You inhale things every day, but with the aid of some of those, hair that you have within your nostrils, God is, very wise man. He puts some things that restricts things from entering there. Imagine the job your nose does. Close your nose for just 1 hour alone if you can. And then you will see how useless your whole body can become if you will die. This is what is collecting air and releasing what you call oxygen and then releasing carbon dioxide. Then you study critically again. Go beyond if I go beyond the nose now, then begin to study the eye. You see the functions of the eye, you begin to wonder, just eye. Then you start studying the mouth. Within the mouth alone, you go beyond the mouth, you study the tongue, study the teeth. Even your teeth alone has about 3 layers. You have scissors, you have what do you call the other one? The molars, the premolars. There are how many of them? 4. 4 different components or parts of your teeth. Just teeth alone. One does the cutting, the other one does the chewing. 32 set of teeth you have, but divided into 4. You leave that one now, go and start studying the tongue. You see different function. The tongue is for taste. The tongue helps you to release saliva. The tongue helps you to swallow food. It helps you to mix your food together. It's the tongue that does that job. Then leave that one now. Start studying your ear. You see different functions of the ear. It helps you to sound, recognize sound, to hear sound. The same ear helps you for balance, your posture and all that is the ear. I even found that even this ear God put here is not only for sound and for balance, it's also for romance. Some of you are not married. When you marry, you understand. It's even for tickling. If I collect feather now and I put it inside your ear, this is what your body will do you. God is wise. He knows you like sweet thing. He just puts small it's inside your ear. See what I'm trying to explain? It's just within your head though. I've not started explaining your hands with the fingers. The different jobs of your thumb, your index finger, and all those whatever. Then when I take it beyond the fingers and start explaining your thumb prints, what thumb prints serve as, you use it to register for all those your voters' days, open account, do all kinds of things. They use it for crime detect. Somebody comes to your house now, boggles and take away some properties. All you need to recover it is to get some detectors. They come, collect some items or check the door, scan it, and then they find thumbprints on those doors. With just somebody's thumbprint, you can recover lost goods. Thumbprints. They can use thumbprint to track somebody who stole your properties worth millions. And then when they track the person, they can recover all that with just thumbprint. Nothing God created in the human body is useless. See what God created and invested in. But you don't understand this. Okay, why am I going all this direction? Okay, even your ear is for beauty. You can put earring there and look better. Then we even start talking about the hair. Okay, even the eye alone. I didn't even break down the eye. What about the eyelashes, the eyelids? Which God sat down and built this thing? One after the other. And then some people want to fall from the sky and succeed. See the God you serve. Sometimes you should sit down like that and ask. They've not even opened your body. If I open that one now, you'll be shocked. Your brain alone now, inside your head, your brain, if you know what is wired with, then this brain connecting the two lobes of your brain, the right lobe, the left lobe, the medulla oblongata was the job, and different other part. Then the brain connecting through the spinal cord that connects through your back and goes to your waist. What's the job of that one? We start looking at the respiratory system alone. Or we take the heart and start looking at it alone. And check all the veins that are connected to your body. Check all the arteries alone. They start checking all those blood cells, white blood cell, red blood cell. Start checking all those tissues, all those everything. Let's leave that one. Let's now start studying bones. You start studying femur, you start studying all those joints, you start studying sockets, you start studying all those different bones and connections of your body. Who created this thing? What is interested is the same Father in heaven we serve. We now take your hair, just your hair alone, and study. Your hair. How much it took God to produce one after the other, and assembled all of them and put it. And the way he finished, you now say the hair on your head are all numbered. He says that to let you know that they were created deliberately, that they were made one after the other. So we didn't rush it. We took time to make it. So we know the numbers. And we know the number that should size your hair. God knows the shape of your head, and he knows the shape of hair that sizes it. He deliberately created the shape of hair that will fit into your head. Then let's start even studying the digestive system. How you eat food, it moves from your mouth, from your mouth to your teeth to your tongue, from your tongue to your esophagus. From your esophagus, it gets down to the stomach, locates the small intestine, the large intestine. After a while, the body now collects what it needs to grow and then transforms the other one into poo-poo and then sends it to the anal. And then after a while, you start feeling pressed. Something is already happening somewhere. You now visit the toilet and now push that shit out. That's just digestive system. Imagine eating for 2 weeks and not being able to go to toilet. I actually met a lady who told me, I went somewhere to preach. She ran and met me, says, sir, I have been 6 months without going to toilets. She told me life. I said, this one is no longer medical. He said, have you gone to the hospital? He says, yes. This one is not medical, it's demonic. I said, have you been surviving? I saw the lady laying like this. She hardly eats. She just drinks water, vegetable and all that. 6 months. She told me 6 months. I said, what? 6 months? You haven't been able to live? He said, it's just been the message of God. He said, are you sure for what telling me? I now laid down. So I said, okay, this night you're going to go and pass your poo-poo. So the young lady has been living on water and then vegetables and fruits. No serious food. See the things God put in your body, yet you've not been able to study to find out who created it. You eat food without your permission, you start feeling shitty. Even when you're sleeping, sometimes you eat in the night, you go to bed, you are sleeping, your digestive system is working. Who programmed it? Before we started having software programmers and all that, God had been a long time programmer. You're sleeping, your hair is growing. You're sleeping, your kidney working, your bladder working. We've not even talked about kidney alone. The one that helps to collect excess water, all those unneeded water in your body, and turn it into urine. It's the kidney that does that sifting, then sends it to the bladder. Then the bladder collects it. Once it hits the bladder, that's when you start feeling pressed. And then you want to go and pass it out through your private parts. You see how your private part for the guys, your male private organ is connected to your bladder. See your 2 testicles. All you do is to go and take bath. Some of you who, go and bath and whistle out of the bathroom. You don't look at yourself and say, God, what kind of wonder am I? How God even created a male organ and didn't forget to use needle and open it. But God forgot. You see how small it is. Be as big as your rod is. This one small thing is what is controlling the passage of urine and the passage of sperm. So your whole rod of Moses will be useless if there's no small hole that can release spermatozoa. That's where you all came from. That small gate. If you're with me, say I'm with you, sir. Small gate, very insignificant. Hello, somebody. Very what? Insignificant hole. Not just put it there. When you go and pee, you are just peeing and you don't understand what is going on in your life. For those of us who are married, when we meet with our spouses, things are coming out from left, right, center. Then you don't understand the technology. All you just do is look at it as normal. Why am I taking my time to go through all this? Is to show you that to be a success, my friend, there's a lot of work. You don't just fall from the sky and happen. You don't just wake up from the blues and then actualize. There's a kind of person you must work on being. Of all those principles that I should have been showing you, I will take on one today. If you know the amount of principles you need to succeed, and you see, like I used your human body to show you how these things work. All the parts of your body plays different roles. Some play one role, some play more than one role, some play like 2, 3, 4, several roles. This may sound a little bit, but there's nothing to hide here. We're all human beings and then we're mature minds, so there's nothing to hide. Do you know what is shocking is that when a man is having love affair with a wife, Even if you're oppressed, there's water in your bladder, urine in your bladder, but you're having that love affair with your wife. Shocking thing is, you get to a point where something's about to happen, you're about to ejaculate and all that. Your private male organ does not have 2 holes. Remember, you're feeling pressed to go and ease yourself, and then you're also having something with your woman, and then ejaculation wants to come. I've never seen a situation where the sperms come out with the urine. Never. I don't know the technology that holds the other one, releases the other one, and then the other one is still there. But you're oppressed, but both cannot come out together. I don't know that thing that controls the eyes, that make it difficult for one eye to move when the other one is standing still, or one eye to stand still when the other one moves. Try it, let's see. Try. Try. Hold one eye looking in this direction. Change this one to this direction. Let's see. Even people who have 4 o'clock eyes, people who have 4 o'clock eyes, they can be looking at you like this, and you think they're looking there. They are looking. Everybody say principles. You want to have success in the coming year? I'm showing you the prize now. I found out that God has this in great amounts. One time I studied that part of the Bible where it says, he that keeps Israel neither sleeps nor slumber. And I said, what is he awake doing? What's a man awake doing? Study the God who created the mountain. If you have to create a mountain, you may create it and die there. You'll be creating it. Look at Mount Everest alone, just Mount Everest. God that created Mount Kilimanjaro. God that created even Azugu Mount Hill here. This is Azugu Hill. Then the God that created the whole ocean, collected the whole water that were on the whole earth and hung it in the space as clouds, converted it into something else. And then took some part of the ocean or water and lodged it somewhere in the Atlantic. Took another one, lodged it in the Pacific. Took another one, lodged it in the Indian Ocean. Took another one, lodged it at the Mediterranean Sea. Took another one, lodged it in the Red Sea. Took another one, lodged it in different places. And then the whole world is in balance. Think about the God that created sand. Now I know why he does not sleep. Because to have such a level of result the man has, the man must be working every day, working every minute. There's something, he's always on the course. Think about the man who created. Okay, let's study one habitat alone. The aquatic habitats. Of all the habitats he created, you have the atmosphere, is a habitat. Bears, I can harness that one, is a habitat. You have the aquatic, or what you call the hydrosphere. When you see hydro is water, like H2O is water. Hydrosphere talks about the water, the sphere of water. Then you now talk about the what? The hemisphere. Which one is the hemisphere? Oh, you don't know that one? You will chop your school fees. For instance, you now see land and all that. At the end of the day, see, if you study the aquatic life or the aquatic world, the creatures that live inside there alone are more than 1,000 different creatures. If you want to study fish alone, fish is not the only thing that lives in water. There are other creatures that live in water. But you want to study the fish family alone, if you know the kind of different fishes you have in the water. One kind of fish you have is tilapia. You have fingerlings. You have catfish. You have dolphins. You have sharks. You have whales. These are wild fish. Can even kill a human being, like sharks and whales. You have all these crabs and all that, a different kind of aquatic life, different from fish. There are some snakes that live in water. Then you now start looking at these other creatures like frogs and toad. I think it's toad that, or toad lives in water. There are other reptiles that lives in water too. Like crocodile lives in water. Rhinoceros. That very hefty animal that has a very live in water. There are some who are dual aquatic, in nature. Some creatures that have dual aquatic nature. Dual habitation rather, not aquatic. Dual habitation. Some can live on water, in water, some can live on land. Like pig. Pig does not live in water, but it can enter water and do its thing and come out. Especially because of the kind of system it has that produces heat. Deer also, DEER, can live on land, it can live in water. Especially when it begins to emit smell. What makes deer pants for water is that ugly smell it has. Deer has a natural ugly smell. So sometimes when it begins to feel that thing, it becomes ashamed. It begins to have a kind of low, confidence amongst other creature. He feels intimidated. He feels bad, inferiority complex. So that's when he begins to pant after water. That's why we say, as the deer pants for water, so does my soul thirst. That panting, part of the panting is not because it's thirsty. Part of the panting is that I'm now unclean. The only way I can get myself clean now is to run into the water. That's how it is with believers. When you feel I'm now in debt, I'm now in mess and all that, you don't run away from God's presence. That's when to pant for the presence of God.
For the continuation of this message, please play the next track.